Welcome back. Israel expected to approve a U.S. ceasefire with Iran-backed Hezbollah when it votes on the deal later today, according to Reuters. The deal includes a 60-day implementation period, which allows the Israeli military to withdraw from southern Lebanon and for Lebanese armed forces to secure their border and prevent Hezbollah from reestablishing a presence there. The deal also creates a five-nation monitoring committee led by the United States to oversee the border along with UN peacekeepers. Meanwhile, Iran's supreme leader is now calling for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's execution for alleged war crimes committed during the wars with terrorist groups Hamas and Hezbollah. This follows the ICC's arrest warrants that you know about. Joining me now is Fox News senior strategic analyst and the chairman of the Institute for the Study of War, General Jack Keane. General, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, delighted to be here, Maria.
And I want to get your take on your assessment of this plan for a ceasefire. And also, how do you consider a ceasefire when the Ayatollah is still saying that Netanyahu should be executed?
Well, that's rhetoric and bombastic language coming out of him. It's not surprising. I don't think anybody takes that too serious. Certainly, they would love Netanyahu to be going away. But in terms of the ceasefire itself, I mean, this is a major step forward. We broke news on Fox weeks ago that they were reaching out to do this, the Israelis, that is, initiating it because they were accomplishing their objectives. Remember, when it came to Gaza, the Israeli mission was to defeat Hamas and destroy as much of their fighters as possible. They've accomplished the defeat. They're finishing up the destruction. Dealing with Lebanon and Hezbollah, the mission was never to defeat Hezbollah inside of Lebanon. They would have to go into central Lebanon. That would require a huge amount of forces, take months and months, maybe more than a year or two to do something. They didn't need that kind of war. What they wanted to stop, and it was singular focus, is stop the firing into northern Israel from southern Lebanon that they were doing, which displaced 60,000 to 70,000 Israelis. So that's what this mission has been all about. They did three things to do that: decapitate the leadership. We've all seen that, and it's still going on. Destroy as much rockets and missiles as possible, and focus on long-range missiles. They've done a magnificent job in doing that. And the third thing is put ground troops in there, get the Hezbollah out of the southern part of Lebanon, get them across the Litani River, and destroy all the infrastructure. They have succeeded at all three of those, and that is why Hezbollah came to the table. The mission was to compel Hezbollah to change its behavior and submit to a new deal. They had a deal just like this after the war in 2006, and the Hezbollah violated immediately, even though there was a UN peace enforcement team, it's still there, by the way, to make certain that they never came south to do the destruction they eventually did. This time, it's going to be the Lebanese army. The Israelis do not trust them to be effective. They want them to be effective. In other words, they're going to be in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah will not be there. And they're going to monitor the fact that Hezbollah does not come in there and then set up their infrastructure again, rebuild it to be able to fire into northern Israel. This is the key element of this agreement. And the Israelis have the right, as part of the agreement, to fire in there and to go back in there if necessary. The other thing that's very important about this deal, two things. One is President Trump, in conversations with Prime Minister Netanyahu, recommended to him that he try to get a deal either in Gaza or with Hezbollah before the inauguration. This is obviously happening. Second thing is the Ayatollah, the one who wants Netanyahu killed, pressed Hezbollah to take the deal, which is interesting. And it's testimony to Iran is back on their heels. The war in Gaza that Sinwar started is lost. Hezbollah has not been able to accomplish their mission. They've had a major setback here, and that's the reality. Iran has lost its whole air defense system to protect everything that they value in the country from an air attack. So they're on their heels, and they recognize it, and that is what is happening here. All of that coming together has made this deal possible.
That's incredible. So it sounds like you do believe that this is possible and this could stick. What would you recommend the incoming Trump administration to do to further this peace?
Well, first of all, I think they're going to have, when it comes to policy formulation, obviously we've lost our deterrence capability, or Iran would not have operationalized all its proxies to take down Israel and drive us out of the region. I mean, after all, they've attacked our U.S. forces in the region, Iran through its proxies, during the Biden administration over 300 times. And the Trump team coming in has got to internalize that reality. Secondly, they've attacked our warships who are trying to keep the Suez Canal and the Red Sea open multiple times. Attacked our warships with ballistic missiles. And we've done nothing to Iran as a result of any of that. That is sad. So I think what has to happen here to restore deterrence, policy formulation for sure, and decide how we're going to handle Iran. That is the issue. Full throttle support for the Israelis. No, there's no doubt about that. How are we going to handle Iran? And we got to let Iran know. I mean, flat out, let them know. We don't have to do public declarations. Let them know that it's over. You're not attacking U.S. forces in the region, period. You're not attacking our ships, and you're not attacking our troops.
Pardon me, sir. Do you want them to return to maximum pressure?
Oh, yeah, of course they will. I mean, that's a given. Maximum sanctions is a given. I'm talking about something, that is actually beyond that. And then the other thing is they'll want to return to the Abraham Accords and work with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has stiffened as a result of this. They have a lot of pressure on them because of the Palestinians and the impact of the casualties on them. And initially in the deal, when it was very close to being fulfilled, that's one of the reasons why Iran operationalized its proxies and why Sinwar went to war, is to stop that deal. That's how close it was in normalizing relations between Saudi and Israel. Now the Saudis have put more on the table Palestinian statehood than they had before. They had it as an aspirational goal. Now they want it to be achieved. But the Trump administration has got very good relations with the Saudis, much better relations than Biden has. And I think there's plenty of opportunity to negotiate something where we'll make some progress on the Abraham Accords. Once Saudi Arabia normalizes relations with Israel, Maria, all the other Arab states fall into line. That would be an unbelievable sea change in the Middle East. It will change dramatically as a result of that. So that will be one of their goals for sure.
And you can see that the Trump administration, Donald Trump, has much better relations throughout Saudi. We see that over and over again. So that's good.